doing it. You supposed to be happy you sitting there with Kid L. Why you mad?
The Kid L Podcast.
And my dog Corey is in the building. What's happening, man?
What's going on, man? Feel good to be here.
You have the code, and it was an awesome new thing to see pop up in the recent years because I feel like everybody was kind of doing podcasts and just, standard interviews, but then you came out with this whole new dynamic of really engaging and getting these unfiltered, raw answers from some spectacularly funny guests. What was the origination of the idea? How'd you come up with it?
Okay, so it was created on accident, the code, kinda, because years ago, I say during the pandemic, when people first started coming back outside, so I'm thinking late 2021, early 2022, I was outside interviewing people with the microphones and like they do on TikTok all the time. I was just interviewing people and stuff, and it was cool. It was funny. I was catching these moments with people, meeting people and stuff like that. But then it got cold outside. Yeah. So it's like, damn, we can't go outside and interview people no more. Like we were going to Greektown all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to my best friend who's my cameraman too, and I'm like, let's do something where we could get a bunch of people, at one time and get these interviews off instead of one at a time. Because we got jobs, we got schedules, we got lives. So we arranged for it to be just like those interviews outside where we were just going to bring all the people, ask them crazy questions. All right, bye. And it was in my living room. And I invited a bunch of my close friends, like 15 of my guy friends, all in the same room in my living room. I didn't have that much money for production and stuff like that. We had a camera, some computers and ideas. And it worked out. We invited everybody. I said I was going to call it The Code because at the end of every episode, we were just going to tell them what the code is. So it started like that. And I didn't imagine that I was going to keep doing it. We did it one time. I was like, okay, we're going to film like 5-6 episodes. We did it. I put the episodes out. The response was crazy. It was crazy than anything I ever put out. And I went viral a few times before that. But that specific time, it wasn't even that I was viral, but it was the response and the retention. People hitting me up, people calling me, people that ain't never talked to me. Hey, you got to keep doing this. Hey, can I work with you? Hey. And I'm like, damn, this is what I've been looking for the whole time. Did I just strike gold with this? So it just kept going and elevating. And then the sponsors came, the exposure came. People started coming to me. I didn't have to go search for people. Yes. And the resources I had, I think my first season was edited on iMovie just because I didn't want to pay for Final Cut. And the elevation just kept growing and growing and growing. And then the stage just kept growing and it got bigger than that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember there was a point where people were messaging me to ask how to get on your show, and I was like, what makes you think I know how to get on the show? Because even when I was trying to get on the show, I was like, I like the process. You reached out to me, but there was also really dialed in process for making sure that the guest has information and what they want to talk about on the show and things of that nature, which was cool. It's very professional.
Appreciate that.
Let's talk about day zero for Corey, though, man. Tell everybody where you're from.
I'm originally from Detroit. I moved to Belleville when I was a kid, and I grew up in Belleville my whole life until I was a little bit older, and I moved around a little bit. But when you say day zero as a creator or just day zero for me?
Oh, for you. Just for me? Day of birth, zero.
Birth, okay. I was always silly in school. I was always seeking attention and things like that, sometimes in the wrong way. You could label me a class clown because that's what I was. And when I got a little bit older, I got my first iPhone, and this was the 2010s. So I'm like, I got a better camera now. I got this cool app called iMovie. Let me just start making skits, being silly, kind of channeling that attention that I wanted into something tangible. So I started putting the skits out, and I was known as a content creator from 2015 on. Everybody knew me for that. Everybody knew I was going to make a skit. I was going to get on there and talk and be funny and things like that. And I think maybe 2018, 19 is when I sat down and realized I could really, do something with this. I had experience going viral a few times and being known and things like that. So I really just focused on it from 2018, 19 on. So of course the pandemic come around, and that's time for everybody to sit the hell down and figure out what you want to do with your life. Because you have nothing but time now. You can't go outside. There's nothing out there.
Yeah.
And I just got better at my editing. I got better at collaborating with people, reaching out to people. I started meeting people. I met my best friend on this journey. I think I reached out to him on Twitter and asked, I didn't know him at all. I saw he was making similar content to me. I said, hey, let's link up. Let's collab. Let's make a video. I met people through him. I started making videos with him and other people. I met a lot of people along the way. And it didn't take me long to realize this is what I was here for, to create. And so that's what I do across the board. I just create. I created The Code. I created a few other series. I've been on podcasts. I've created podcasts. And my brother, I moved with my brother who plays football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved with him for a little bit. So I went to, the first place we went together was Indianapolis. He signed to the Indianapolis Colts. So he had to move from Cincinnati to Indianapolis. I came with him. And I looked at it as an opportunity to explore, get away from what I've known my whole life, because I was still in Belleville. I went to Indianapolis. He ended up going to Chicago. We went to Chicago. I met so many people, you know what I'm saying? And then we went to Atlanta. And when we got to Atlanta, that was like my final straw. I was far from home at that point, and I missed it. I missed Detroit. I missed the culture. I missed working with the people I was working with, because I could wake up and call my friend Lando, who's my best friend, and say, hey, let's make a video.
Yeah.
At 2 o'clock, you know, in 4 hours, let's make a video. I couldn't do that living out of state. You know, so I came back because this is where like everything was, relationships, my friendships, my family. So I came back, and as soon as I came back, everything started clicking again. Mm-hmm. My creative juices started flowing because this is where I really wanted to be, you know? And a part of the reason why I came back was because I was offered a job to teach a media productions program in Ypsi, you know, at a high school. So to be a teacher, it didn't even click to me. It didn't make sense to me. At first, I got off the phone with the person who called me like, yeah, no, that don't even make sense for me. I called him back. I was curious. He said, yeah, they just want you to teach what you do. And that still wasn't, you know, clicking to me. So we had further conversation. Ended up landing a job, you know, teaching a radio and podcasting course. And I teach it just like media productions. So now I do what I do, but I'm also able to, you know, teach a way younger crowd. I'm teaching juniors and seniors how to do what I do, but in a tangible way, as like a career, not just a hobby, not just something you bought a course about. No, this is a class they come to every single day. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing that, you know, working on my show and working on other creative things. My brother actually called on me to help him create a documentary last year. Mm. And all of last year, they filmed it. I was not there, but they went on a road trip from LA to Vancouver, and they were diving. My brother goes diving in the off season. So they captured this journey, and they were all from Detroit, you know, about 3 black guys from Detroit doing some white boy shit. And I was called on to produce the documentary, and it was a test. It took me an entire year to edit it. It was like a true test for me because that showed me, yeah, I've edited my TV show. I've edited other things. I've edited for a million other people, but that was the hardest project I ever did in my life. And the fact that I did it was a testament for me. It showed that it's not on me, it's in me. This creative shit. Yeah. So that's me. You know, that's me in so many words.
Amazing, man. And then your brother putting you in, you know, this position to, you know, help activate this film is like a great, you know, opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure where he's coming from, they have a bunch of production value and money and stuff like that to help fund this thing, right? Kind of sucks when you're doing work for free, but I'm sure if you're getting paid to do it, it makes it easier, right?
Always.
You know what I'm saying?
Money talks for sure.
Documentaries are tough, man.
Yeah, it was real tough because, like you said with The Code, I'm used to editing that, you know, raw comedy and stuff like that. So when he first brought it to me, I'm not realizing how big.
How much footage was it? Like 100 hours, 200 hours?
I think it was probably somewhere around 100 hours. The entire, I got like a SSD, you know, external not a hard drive, but you know,
solid state.
Solid state. Thank you. I couldn't think of it. I got a solid state with, I want to say 3.6 terabytes on it, just for his project. It was not a little project at all. Biggest I've ever done in my life.
God damn.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was scared at first. I told her, I don't know how we might need a team. And I ended up being the team. Yeah. But yeah, it was a documentary.
That's a great credit to have under your belt too, though.
Yeah, I can't wait.
How full? He hasn't released it. Hasn't dropped it.
No. We just entered post-production. Not post-production. We just entered, you know, we just got out of post-production. So we figuring out what's the next steps.
Very cool, man. Yeah. When The Code came out, one of my friends, one of the first times I really got tuned into it was when Jungle hopped on board, because Jungle's my boy. I've known Jungle for so long, but you brought out a side of him that I've seen a lot of his interviews, but you brought out like that real side of him, right? Yeah. What's your connection like? What's the process like when you're having a guest first sit with you?
On set?
Oh, yeah,
or
on
just
set.
casting? Or
on set.
On set. So I brief them, you know, very similar to when I came in here. You know, there's a trail. It takes about a month and a half from the time you get casted until, you know, you on the show. And when you pull up, I preface everything and messages beforehand. Hey, this is your set time. Be on time. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get you if you aren't. Look at the camera. Look at me at this time. Don't move too far this way. I brief them, and I also let them know this is a conversation. And I let them. I give them a safe zone. If you don't want to talk about something, let me know. We can skip right past it.
Yeah.
And it's all edited. It's not. It's raw, but it ain't. Like, it's whatever you say on the microphone might not necessarily be what gets put in because it's all edited.
Yeah.
To an extent, I'm controlling the narrative when I'm editing, but I just let them flow. I ask them a set amount of questions, and it's usually the same. It's the same skeleton for everybody. The same questions, and their answers are what make the show.
Yes, man. Yeah. And I think the way that you're crafting these questions is what's helping people bring out that side of them that allows them to be like vulnerable, but at the same time exploitative of themselves a little bit to have fun with it at the same time. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a point where it was like nonstop sex stuff. It was crazy. It was all just like freaky shit. But
that's them. In my defense, that's them.
Okay, so they were tuning it up.
Yeah, there's been some topics. I think we had an episode about threesomes. There's been some topics that are suggestive, but for the most part, the questions that I ask are very, very simple, and what makes it crazy is it's always on them, what they say back. Because I've had boring interviews, and I'm like, damn, I don't know how I'm going to use this. I'm going to use very, very little of this because I still need to keep the nature of my show. But you are right, though. I've been told, the nature of the show was kind of wild. So on occasion, I do tone it back.
I'm
keep it
surprised you
realistic.
didn't have more female guests just going crazy on that bitch.
Because some girls are scared to go viral.
Do you have Jigs on there?
Jigs?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Jigs would have went crazy on that bitch.
Noted.
Yeah, Jigs would go crazy on that shit. But yeah, no, it was at one point it was X-rated, but it was like it started balancing itself out after a while. It was like back and forth, which was cool. It's the same as our podcast. Like sometimes we get crazy and sometimes we get calm. It's like the same thing, right?
I've seen the spectrum with this show for sure.
Yeah. It's really up to the guest, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't try to control what they're doing. It's just that's what they're trying to release. Like they're trying to get that out there. So, who are some of your favorite guests that you've had on the show?
Some of my favorite guests. Ask Jen. You know who that is?
Ashwin?
No, Ask Jen.
Oh, Ask
Her name's
Jen.
Jennifer.
Okay.
She's a creator, in her own forthright, a big one too. She got her own show, but she reached out to me, I believe, or did I reach out to her? Either way, we connected, and when she showed up on set, we were strangers. I didn't know her. I didn't know what to expect, and she gave me some of the best interviews I ever had. I think I had about 3-4 seasons, and it's really a conversation back and forth with me and her, and I'm usually behind the camera looking shocked. Because of how raw she is, because she's a professional. She's interviewed the governor. Like, she has some crazy connections, but when she gets on my show, she gives me exactly what I'm looking for on the show. So that's one of my favorites. I got a friend named Reader who comes on the show and always performs. Like, he gets on not even performs, it's just him. But he gets on the show and it's just himself. And the answers he gives me, I know I can always rely on him to give me, what I'm looking for. And Jungle is another one. Jungle's crazy. I met Jungle on set. We had followed each other on social media for a while, but I just reached out. I'm like, this dude crazy. I reached out to him. He was with it. He showed up on set all quiet. This was the season we shot for Tubi. He was so quiet when he showed up on set, and he's short. So he had a very quiet presence at first, and I thought he was going to maintain that. So I'm like, all right, let's bring him in. He sits down, and it was like a light switch. As soon as the camera was rolling, Jungle is crazy.
Yeah,
you never know what he's going to say in that chair. And he's going to say some shit that doesn't make sense in the beginning. But then by the end of what he explaining, it always makes sense.
Yes.
Those are like 3 favorites. I've had over 100 guests, over 120 guests, but those are 3 that are popping out to me like right now.
Damn, so you did over 100 episodes. That's crazy.
No, I haven't had 100 episodes. So each season can range between 15 to 30 people. They all come on set and I interview them. And just a few seconds of what they're saying is going into the show. But there's a lot of people involved with the season. We shoot a whole season one day.
Yeah.
So it's only been, maybe the uppers of 50 episodes.
How'd you get in on Tubi?
Production company reached out to me, and we had conversations that led to, it being able to be distributed that specific season. That was what the deal was for.
Did they ask you to regulate any of it, or did they just say, like, whatever you got, it's good to go?
No, they wanted exactly what the code was. I asked because that was my first time really, jumping stages like that. Should I tone it down? Should I this? Should I that? No. We want what we saw on the internet. More, perhaps. It's. I think if you look it up on Tubi right now, it's TVMA. So I gave them what they asked for. It was raw.
That's very cool, man. Yeah, Tubi is giving a lot of opportunity as a platform to distribute, right?
Yeah, it's a hell of a resume entry. Just being on a streaming service in general, it's a testament to what you do also, because everybody don't get that privilege or right. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, there's obviously difficulties in doing interviews and shows in general. Me and you both probably share similar stories with that, but what's been the most difficult part about running your production?
The most difficult part about running my production was, so I got two answers. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Number one, building a team, because I realized very quick, doing that, because it was just me and my best friend when we started this. And a couple people helped, but it was me and him. And I realized, I need people to help me. I cannot do everything at once. I'm scheduling people. I'm talking to people. I'm running a production. I'm figuring out venues, because it started in my living room until we started growing. And I realized I may need venues, for this. And, building a team that I could trust. And now I got one. I can call them right now and say, can we shoot next week? And it's probably a 90% success rate with that. And then the second one is sometimes the people that I'm dealing with when I'm, casting and things like that. I'm a great communicator when it comes to my business. I tell people exactly what they're getting into, what they should expect. And I ask one thing of them, make sure you're familiar with my show. Make sure you're familiar with, who you're coming to see, who you're talking to, what we're going to talk about. In fact, here is everything that I'm asking of you. Just make sure you read it. Here's the package right here. Sometimes people don't. And they'll show up on set. Number one, they'll think it's a podcast, and they'll think, well, where's your chair? Or I'll ask them something and they'll be offended. And I'll be like, do you know, again, where you at? And the third one is they'll just have absolutely no idea what's going on and get frustrated with me. Like, we on set. I don't have time to give you the definition or the metadata on what exactly we doing right now. We rolling. This is game day. That is very frustrating. I've dealt with that quite a few times, actually. There's a few people I just won't work with again. Some of them with big platforms. So it's kind of heartbreaking a little bit. You got your chance to work with somebody and then it's a dramatic fail. I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eric Andre probably goes through that like tons of times, right?
He has to. Yeah. That's one of my favorite entertainers.
Oh, yeah.
He is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he comes into the game. You don't know what you're doing when you come on set. I'm sure the first season of his guests were confused beyond belief. Now I think most of them know what's going on, but they still don't know what to expect when they get there.
He made a movie. I don't know the name of the movie, but it was a prank movie. The entire movie was just, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That movie was crazy. That was how I got hip to him. And then I'm obsessive. So after I saw that and I liked it, I looked up everything Eric Andre. Probably within weeks, I saw everything he had ever did.
Yeah.
Because I admired that.
Yeah, I mean, he has difficulty too. Like, a lot of guests, when they come on, they don't really know, like, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, stuff's exploding. They don't know what's coming from where. And I mean, it's the same kind of concept. It's kind of cool that you're doing something where anybody who doesn't know exactly what's going on doesn't know what to expect. It creates more raw, viral content.
Some people do catch on quick. You know, some people do get caught off guard and then realize what's going on, and they hop in mode. So
yeah, it's harder. It's a little bit harder in Michigan just because everybody's trying to make sure that they're perceived a certain way, and so if you do anything that makes them like have to steer away from that, they're kind of like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, I don't want to steer away from how people perceive me.
Yeah,
but that's how you go viral, and that's also how you kind of show who you are, your real personality, right?
Yeah, I think authenticity it's 2026. In the last 4 years, I think authenticity has really been standing out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people run from it a little bit because caring about how people perceive you that goes against the grain with authenticity. They cannot run parallel all the time, and people expect it to. So
yeah, that term "oh, that's weird" was a huge thing. Like, "Oh, you're weird," or "That's weird," and it's like that was a way of saying I'm uncomfortable doing that, but at the same time, it's not weird to the rest of the world. It's only weird because you think in the demographic of where you're surrounded by that those people are going to perceive you as weird.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so hard to kind of fit the mold, because fitting the mold means, again, you're just worried about what other people are thinking. And that's,
I've never been like that.
Nobody grows like that, right? So how have you been able to overcome the uneducated guests, I guess you could say?
I just blacklist them. I don't let them throw me off my square too much. I used to in the beginning. I used to get really frustrated with that. I would get offended. Sometimes maybe I thought I was bigger than what I was, because I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what the code is or what the code is about? But I just use them as an example and keep pushing forward, because for every person that that isn't with the program, there's 25 that are. Is what I've noticed. And that's probably factually speaking. So I don't let it throw me off my square at all. And as far as people, perceiving it as weird or anything like that, they just not for me.
No.
They are not for me. They found me, but I'm not what they're looking for.
Has anybody walked off?
I don't think anybody's ever. One person
walked off?
One person walked off. Yeah, he was too high.
Oh, he's just
He
awesome.
was too high, and the questions I was asking him, he probably thought, I don't know what he was thinking, but he did end up, he was respectful about it too. It wasn't dramatic or anything like that, but he for sure said, yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah.
One time ever, yeah.
That's crazy as hell.
Yeah, I'm still cool with him, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
What is the, you've already got it identified in the city. Everybody knows about the code, but what's like the future of it? How are you planning to propel it, make it bigger?
I really wanted to be autonomous because I want to do other things too. I've been doing the code it'll be 4 years in March from the first season that I shot. I really wanted to keep going. I was on streaming services one time. It did what it did, but I would love for it to be bigger than that. But I want the code to be just one sector of what I do. And in recent years, I've actually been, I don't like the word recruiting. I've been bringing people onto the team, and sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know, but I'm getting them ready because one day the code is just going to be a thing that, runs. I've created the groundwork for it. I can sit down with somebody and say, hey, this is how the code is ran, and not show up, which I probably wouldn't do, but I want it to be autonomous so that I could do other things. I want it to continue to grow. I want it to continue to be a name. Every time I put something out, the code grows. Even if it grows by one person or it grows by 1,000 people. People see the code. People know what the code is. And it's one of those shows that can continue going because there's always stuff to talk about. And the way that we talk about these topics is non-traditional. So I just wanted to continue growing, but I don't want it to be my end-all, be-all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like anything else.
Mm-hmm.
When you get these productions, interview kind of style productions, right, it's supposed to just kind of be a complementary to something even bigger than that, right?
For sure.
But, the cool thing about what you did too was, I remember one time Pretty Brea was coming on the show, and I think like she had been on this couch like 2 or 3 times, and she's like, I need a new aesthetic for my podcast. So we opened up the front row where it's like all the blue room and the blue couch. And I kind of realized something when she said that. I was like, damn, some people do need to have quality, like everything needs to be sharp and the colors need to be there and everything. And I was like, that's one thing about the code that I always appreciated. The guests get a professional look that you feel like you're gonna get from Hollywood, and they love having that on their profile grid or when people search them up on the videos on the platforms and see like how professional it all looks. So dialing in the technical aspects and the aesthetics, how important was that to you, and how did you get that done?
That was extremely important for me. And sidebar, I was just watching the code a few days ago. I was watching my first season in comparison to my most recent, and it just made me realize how far it came. Because my strive for perfection is, I'm a bit hard on myself as it pertains to that. My best friend helps me on the technical side a lot. He actually went to school for cinematography. He studied film in college. And when he came on board, he helped me with everything. He's the one that sets the cameras up. He's the one that sets the lights up. We have conversations about how we want it to go. We send stuff back and forth to each other, especially days leading up to production. Like, I want to try this. Hey, you need to get some money because we need to order this, a specific light or a lens for the camera and things like that. That is super important. That's what makes the show the show. I've seen shows similar, and I always look at production, and I feel like I ding it so much personally because I want it to look good. I want it to sound good. As much as the content of the show, I need the quality of the show to match, just as much.
Yeah, it really pops off the screen when you're scrolling. It like makes you stop and go like, what the fuck's about to happen here?
I studied so much to even make it look like that, from, studying color grade. And I edited on Final Cut Pro. I studied so much about it. I got so much better at it, just knowing that I want it to be better. Even my most recent season that I'm still working on right now, I look at it and now I know exactly what I need to make better for next season.
Very cool.
It's always about progression with that.
What's the new season feeling like so far?
The new season feels good. This is one of the first seasons where I took all of the feedback I was getting and made a consensus on it and started applying it. And it's going really good. I had a really good group of people. I introduced some new people to my production team. One of my students was on my production team. Shout out to Royce. I brought him on. I brought on someone to help me with marketing and things like that. Everywhere where I felt like I was lacking, I decided to put some attention into that. Because sometimes I was rushing seasons and things like that. But this season right here, I took my time with it. I was very intentional with the people I was casting. This is one of the first seasons where almost everybody satisfied the needs of the code. You know, this season feels real, real good. I'm actually getting ready to pick it back up. I was going really, really hard with the documentary halfway through my season.
Yeah.
And I finished the documentary, so I told myself I'm getting ready to pick it back up. And that's what I'm working on right now. And it looks good. It sounds good. And I'm ambitious about the next 4 episodes I got to put out.
You got any names you can reveal for us of who's coming on the show?
The names of people that's going to be on the show. That's a loaded question. I work with so many people. Also, one thing about my show, before I can even say a name, is when I built this show, I didn't build it with the intention of, you know, big names and things like that. Because I think that's a bit superficial. You know, the first season I ever shot of my show, I think GMAC Cash came. But GMAC Cash came because that was somebody I knew who would come on this show and be funny and be entertaining and things like that. But I don't look at numbers like that because I'm looking more so for the content that you're going to give the show. And there's people on there with less than 1,000 followers, you know, that sometimes give me the best interviews. There's people with 100,000 followers that be so, you know. So names are cool, but I really want the code to be what shines about the show, the topics that we talking about, what was said. You know, now I can think, you know, I got Lana LaDonna.
Very cool.
Lana LaDonna is on this season. I think this is her 2nd or 3rd season. I got a guy named Griff, who's he's a director, you know, television director. He's got quite a few projects on Tubi. I worked with Big Tay quite a few times. I go way, way back with Big Tay. You know,
love Big Tay, man.
Yeah, before he blew up, me and Big Tay, we go way, way, way back.
Really?
Yeah. So I called him for my first season. He came. I call him for every single season. He comes. If he's in town, if he's available, he's coming.
When did you and Big Tay meet?
2015. 2015. He was making content. I was making content. I met him through my best friend Lando. You know, we linked up and made a skit, and our bond grew from there. For I guess that's 11 years now.
Yeah, because you were doing skits for a while too.
Since I was like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were like, not only are you always are you doing production behind the scenes, but you understand what it's like to be in front of the camera and really like get people to see you face value. Because even with like, I remember when I was first watching Vlad, I was like, man, do you know what it feels like to be on the other side? You know what I'm saying?
That's where I started. That's my first love.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer. I'm really good at producing. You know, I'm really good at being on the other side of the camera, but when the camera's on me, that's where I feel like I thrive at.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're ever going to switch back to being the focus?
Yeah, I had a conversation yesterday about that. This year, I'm going to reward myself by being on camera more. You know, I deserve that. You know, I put a lot of work in on the other side. You know,
Sure.
But one thing, though, is a goal of mine is to start a production company. And in order to start that production company, I want to know the ins and outs. You know, I want to know how to play every single role. That way, when I bring people on, you know, I know what to expect from them because I've already done it. I've done it on a high level, too. So anything I ask of anybody that's on a team of mine, I wouldn't ask them to do anything that I'm not also going to do.
Yes.
Or have done. But I definitely want to and am going to get back on this side of the camera a lot more.
Yeah, it's good to be versatile with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Producing and acting. You got to be versatile these days, right? It's kind of hard to be. Even if you're noticing, too, like all the rappers are getting into Tubi and acting now.
Yeah, I be seeing it.
They're getting more versatile with their catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you're kind of capped out, it looks like, at a certain point with staying in one lane.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants an impressive, you know, resume. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they got people in their ear telling them they need to try this and try that. Yeah, I'm with that. I think you should try everything.
Yeah, like rappers are Twitch streaming, they're acting, they're doing everything now. Can't imagine Tupac though, man. That'd be kind of wild. If Tupac was a Twitch streamer out of nowhere, that would be kind of like, damn, I don't know about this.
I think he'd be too political.
Who, Tupac?
Yeah, I think he'd be way too political if he was on stream.
Right now he'd be going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right now Tupac would be going crazy. Right?
Mind you, he'd be like in his 50s. Yeah, he'd be slowing down. So yeah.
He wouldn't be rapping like Sugar Free or nothing like that. It was like at their age, like he'd be
Maybe J. Cole.
What?
Maybe he'd be rapping like J. Cole.
No, I'm saying like I don't think he'd be rapping at all. At this
Oh, you don't
age.
think so?
No, I think he'd be done with that shit. I think he'd be like more in the Ice Cube lane, just like fuck it, man. Let me just, like you said, be political, but at the same time make productions instead of rapping.
I was about to say Ice Cube Ice Cube doing it right.
Yeah.
You know, Ice Cube, people like Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent. Does 50 Cent still rap?
Nah.
Yeah, I admire 50 Cent a lot.
He's a productionist.
Mm-hmm.
You like that idea of getting into multiple catalogs of production.
For sure. Yeah, I never want to be in just one lane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was for a while until production kind of fell in my lap. I didn't go seeking that, you know, but exploring everything is definitely, you know, important for me.
Yeah, and now that you got that documentary experience under your belt, it's like once you edit a documentary that's over 100 hours, you can almost damn near edit anything at that point now.
That's what I keep
Because
saying.
it's not like a movie where like here's ABC like of what needs to happen. A documentary is like how the fuck do you put this together to make it make
was
sense?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I just remember looking at clip after clip because the story's not told in order either.
Yeah,
It's if you just like you said, if you can do that, you can do anything. It was so much. I probably worked on that. Probably spent over 1,000 hours working on that.
god damn.
And I'm not exaggerating. Just hours.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You were at 313 Day, weren't you? Were you at
Yeah, on June 19th.
Yeah.
I was there.
313 Day.
Uh-huh.
It was a pretty cool day.
Yeah.
Chanel organized like the back area for all the content creators, which is cool because it was like the Hip Hop Lab. I think the Foreign Magazine was there.
They were.
They were there?
They were there in
Yeah,
the
they were
back,
there,
yeah.
and there were a couple other guys too. But it was cool to see how she collaborated all of us together and put us all there. I think this is your season, man. I think this is the season where I understand. I do appreciate that concept of you saying like, hey, I want to get working with anybody because, you know, everybody has a great story. Anybody can have a great story. But I do think some celebrities will just help, first of all, inspire some other people to come on too. And then you do get some really great stories from these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they do carry the leverage of exposure.
Yeah.
You know, I never deny that fact. I am prideful on the fact that, you know, I made it where I'm at, not seeking that out. You know what I mean?
True.
And I really appreciate the times when it comes to me. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, just about any celebrity, if I have the opportunity to work with them, we're going to accommodate, you know, me and my team. But it's just not what I was after. You know, while I'm building my concept, I never want to look at anybody and be like, you know, without you, man, I don't know what the code. No, me and my team, we did that. You know, we went out, we got these people. You know what I'm saying? Not one single person can tell me they made the code. We made it. Me and my team, me and my production team,
Very cool.
which is maybe 8 or 9 people that have circulated. But any given production set, it's about 6 or 7 of us sitting on set.
Oh, so you guys got a full squad when you're doing these things now.
Yeah, it grew. It grew. It was just me and Lando. And then we brought in people for sound production. We brought in secondary cameraman. We brought in, you know, production assistant, couple production assistants, things like that. My girlfriend helps. You know, it's all hands on deck that day. You know, it's never just a couple of us. It's never 2 of us on set.
Very cool.
And we learned that very quick that we was gonna need several people to make that work.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the creator space is getting crazier because Twitch streaming is becoming a new source of viewership for people, and it's really, really getting big. Streaming is getting really big, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's getting big to the point where I'm like, damn, should I check it out? But then I'm also kind of like, I don't feel like doing that though, so why would I do it?
The answer is yes. I've probably been in not denial, but I've been battling with myself for about 2 years about it.
Yeah.
I got all the stuff. I just rearranged my office. It looks like a streamer's room. It looks just like a streamer's room.
Yeah.
I want to try it, but one thing that I'm scared of, and I probably got to get out of this, is starting from zero. I hate starting from zero. You know, anytime I got to start all the way over, just knowing how hard I grinded, you know, over here, it's like, damn, I got to go recreate this over here. Yeah, they know me on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok too, but if I make this Twitch account, I think I have a Twitch account with like 11 followers on it. It's like, damn, I gotta get on here and hope these 11 people join in, and maybe one day 12, and then 13. You know, I am a little scared of that. I know how to do it. I got everything set up. I could go do a stream right now at home.
Yeah.
But it's that starting over thing.
And you still look stupid as hell when you're streaming for 2 people. Like, damn, there's 2 people in this bitch, and one of them is my mom. Like, damn, that's just crazy.
Man, I be joining. I got some famous friends. Kenny Knox, you know who that is from Vine?
No.
Man, he was huge, man. He was one of the biggest Vine. He was one of the biggest Vine stars in the world. He's big on TikTok and all these platforms and stuff like that. We had a conversation. He's also a friend of mine. We had a conversation and about him doing Twitch and stuff like that. And I be joining his streams and stuff like that. And I asked him about it, like, how do you how does it feel to, gotta grind it out when you ran the internet 10 years ago? Like, how does it feel? And you be like, man, just do it. Just do it. But I'm in a space where I don't know. I know if I want to get with the times, I got to do it. And my students be asking me about it. Like, can we stream here?
Man,
I'm like, damn, let me teach myself a little more before I try to get in front of you and teach it or show you it.
I don't know, because Lando tried it out, and I don't think it lasted too long, so I kind of like, I looked at him, and I looked at Flex Live, too. Like, Flex Live, he's 42 Doug's DJ, so it's like, if these guys were doing it, and even they're kind of like backing away from it, I'm kind of like, damn, I don't know, bro.
Did Lando back away from it? Because he was doing it at 3-on-3 day.
He was, but I don't see him doing it like, I think he was like, he really ramped it, and then he kind of like slowed down. I don't really see him doing it much anymore, and I'm kind of like, I think we're getting kind of tricked into thinking it's bigger than it is. I think there's a lot of people succeeding in it, but I think there's also like a million people not succeeding in it, just like the rap game.
Yeah.
You know how we always feel like, oh, anybody can make it in rap because we got this and this and this, but it's really like, bro, it's like 30 people.
I think it's like, people also look at it. You look at Kai Cenat, who was getting like 100,000 subscribers a day. You looking at it like that, like, oh, if he could do it, I just need half of that. People looking at it like it should just be overnight. I know it don't go like that. I've been doing this over 10 years. I know nothing goes like that for most people. And I think now, just like you said, streaming in the rap game, they showing a lot of parallels in how fast they're growing. Because the rap game had a period like that where it skyrocketed in, popularity and how many people were doing it. And they had access, like when SoundCloud first, got popping. Now everybody realized I can put my stuff out there. Everybody want to blow up on stream. I want to blow up on stream. It's just, you got to put in the work. And people going to fall off. People going to taper off.
Yeah.
Anything. That's with anything. With content creating, I think people are gonna fizzle the hell out, and the people who are serious about it still gonna be there. I've seen that wave come and go so many times.
Well, yeah, it's getting even worse now. Now they're making fun of content creators on Instagram. They're kind of making these memes of like, oh, when they catch you creating content, it's like when your family catches you creating content, or your friends catch you creating content, it's almost like embarrassing now.
Yeah.
Somebody posted a video the other day saying like, I'd be embarrassed to say I'm a rapper in 2026, and I was like, whoa,
that's rough. That's rough. I wouldn't say all that.
I wouldn't say all that either. I'm just saying that's what people are kind of looking at it like, what are y'all doing out here? Like, there ain't no money in that shit for real, and that's kind of what they're trying to say. Or like, everybody's did it and it didn't work. What are you doing now?
So I'm a shit talker. I be talking that shit sometimes. It depends. I see people. I can peep out the work ethic, even if I'm not there with you and I'm just seeing the content you putting out or the music that you putting out. Like, I can respect some people's journey, and then other ones I'd be like, I hope, plan B, C, D, E, and F are. I hope they are in motion right now, because plan A, it look a little rocky. I understand the shit talk to an extent. As a content creator, though, I do see people talking about content creators, and I kind of, tilt my shoulder this way, like, you ain't talking about me. I got a resume over here. I really do this.
Well, no, we got to separate everything is content creation. Martin Scorsese making a movie is it's content. It's a movie. It doesn't matter like what it is. Lord of the Rings is content. It's just phrased under social media as content creators just because it's easier to diagnose it that way. But really, you're a productionist because you're actually creating a production. You have light, sound, audio, editing, actual setting. There's things that make it a production. Versus a content creator, if we're going to call them that, are people who just kind of use their cell phones or light camera work to film what's going on and just clip it together real quick.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. Productions are productions, man. Like, what you're doing is considered a production. This is a fucking production. When you're just walking around with the phone or doing gimmicky little small things and just whatever the hell, I think that's what content creation. Nothing wrong with it, too. I guess that's a whole lane that we just got to adapt to, that it's a new thing.
I give you that.
But I wouldn't compare what you're doing. I wouldn't call you a content creator in the same way that some guy holding a cell phone on a mirror talking to his fans is a content creator.
And see, it's like a fine line, though, right? Because I agree with everything you just said, for one. I don't want to sound like I don't. But when I call myself a content creator, because I can and I will, I have a bunch of different type of cameras and ways to make content and things like that. I will absolutely set my phone up and create something, right? Yeah. At which point, I'm a content creator. I've done higher level things, though. I look at the people that call themselves content creator, because 100,000 is a big number, but they got 100K on TikTok, and they recording a video every day and stuff like that. I call them content creators, but I also predict they'll fizzle out at some point. And that's what, I'm going to sound like a hater, but that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on the fake content creators to fizzle out so that people like myself or people like the people that I work with, not so that we can get our shine again, so that they can see who was really here before this wave came. And it was really the pandemic that started the wave. But
Yeah, it was.
I really want to get to the other side of that so the people that really know they shit the stage can clear a little bit because it's crowded up here. It's definitely crowded up here.
Yeah.
Because the content creators, they'll prop their phones up. They'll make 1 million videos. They'll saturate the timeline. And it's every now and then that's frustrating for somebody like me because there's production involved, right? I just shot a season of The Code. It's going to take me months to edit this.
Yeah.
Right? So there's months where I'm sitting on a bench, MacBook in hand. You know, I'm putting my content together and all these other content creators just putting stuff out. TikToks that took them 30 minutes to make, if that. You know, I am kind of ready to see the other side of that.
It's gonna happen
Yeah.
because not everybody. Man, you only have so much in your vault of information that you can put yourself to the camera like that and give information to people to. It runs out eventually.
Yeah.
But these guys, some of these people are just saying nonsense. I'm like, what the fuck are we even listening to?
Yeah.
But that's why everybody wants to cut the cords on on interviews and podcasts. Everybody's like, make podcast equipment $1 million. Do this and do this and do this. There's a lot of talking happening on social media. I won't lie.
about canceling the podcast
No,
culture?
I think it's just too much talking, and
Oh,
I do
okay,
agree with
okay,
that. It is
okay.
like just people talking non-fucking stop, bro. Like,
Yeah.
but I guess that's why you're on social media, right? Like, you're here to see people's perspectives and opinions, and like, you hear a lot of stupid shit, you hear a lot of smart shit, but at the end of the day, it's like, what are we really doing? Like, isn't it better to just go live in reality versus staring and listening to somebody's stupid ass opinion?
Will we ever get that back though?
Nah.
Yeah, so it's like we just gotta live with it. I think the For You page was like the worst and the best thing that happened to social media because your social media stopped being about who you were following. Because the For You page is 99% any people you've never seen before. You know, or the Explore page or the Reels tab on Instagram, things like that. Is you constantly trying to reach people that you don't know. So now you can't build relationships with the people that the people that you retain, the people that followed you. You know, I got 21K or something like that on Instagram. I feel like I'm no longer talking to them anymore. You know, I do make content for them, but I feel like in order to get big, I gotta get broader. And that's what these content creators are doing. They broad terms saying a lot of broad spectrum shit. And sometimes it's so stupid I be having to put my phone down.
You're absolutely right. They're aiming for global reach. They're not aiming for their local reach anymore.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember having 21,000 followers 6-7 years ago was a huge fucking deal. That was impressive. Now when I make content, you know, you check your insights and things like that, it's always non-followers,
Yeah.
which is cool. I want to reach them, right? But damn, like I do want to practice retention. I do want to, you know, talk to the people that trusted me enough to hit follow.
No, we average 18 million views a month, and I think out of 18 million views, I get 300 to 500 followers from that because people are just scrolling, liking, commenting, scrolling, liking, commenting. They're not actually like going to the page.
Yeah.
They don't have to. Like, you'd have to do. I think models are doing very good. Food review places are doing very good.
Great.
But it's really hard as anything right now to get an actual follow from somebody. It takes more. When you're about to follow somebody, what goes through your mind before you follow somebody?
Whatever I just watched, you know, do I want to see 100 different versions of that? If the answer is yes, I hit follow. You know, that could be my girlfriend's staring right at me, but that could be an attractive picture, right? Could I stand to see pictures like this 100 more times? Or if it was a funny video, you know, like if I saw The Code, I'd hit follow. You know, because I probably did not agree or I agree with what that person just said and I want to hear other perspectives.
Really?
Yeah, for
How
sure.
many people do you follow right now?
On my page?
Yeah.
Maybe 2,000.
Oh, damn. So you're going crazy with it.
Yeah, maybe 2,000.
You got a lot of people to listen to.
Yeah, I want to cut that shit down though.
I cut mine down to 151. I was like, fuck that shit, man.
I get bored. I get bored with the people I'm following. I'll be wanting to
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
expand.
Nothing's been going on.
On your timeline?
Yeah, my timeline's been dry as fuck.
Yeah,
I probably unfollowed too many people.
Yeah, I went on an unfollowing spree. I think once upon a time I followed a lot more than 2,000, but a couple of years back,
You know, my biggest
was
fear is
bored.
if Cash Doll unfollows me one day.
Cash Doll has me blocked.
She blocked you?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Maybe you didn't invite her on the show.
No, she's. Is this a safe space?
Yeah, it's a safe
Okay.
space.
All right. So years ago, I traded Instagrams with somebody The account didn't have any followers. I don't know why I traded accounts. I was very young. Whatever. I traded accounts. Account maybe had 2,000 followers on it. And I'm following people. I'm building the account up and shit like that. And I realized I don't follow Cash Doll. Let me go follow. I remember this moment. I'm not playing. I was in a Kroger parking lot in like 2016 or something like that. I was trying to go follow her and I couldn't find her. Like, oh, what is her username? And I kept looking and I realized I was blocked. I reached out to people she knows and said to tell her to unblock. I did nothing to her. I don't know what happened, but Cash Doll has me blocked.
Maybe you didn't invite her on the show.
I never had a chance to. I didn't have this show in 2016. I don't know.
Man, maybe
tell her that she needs. She don't even have to follow me. Just unblock me. That was so weird.
All right, yeah, Cash
or
Doll.
whatever the previous person that had my account did. I don't know. This was a long time ago. I had this account for 10 years. More than 10 years.
Makes no sense.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to make
was
this
tough.
a post. I'm gonna have to make this its own post and be like, yeah,
That's
Cash Doll.
fucked up.
But yeah, if she ever unfollowed me, bro, I'd probably cry for like a week straight.
I
I always check her follows to make sure she don't follow
Make sure
me.
she still
I do
follow
it
you.
every like 3 days. I know because sometimes I look at her follower count goes down. I'm like, I know she unfollowed me today.
She fuck with you. She
I
fuck
know,
with
but I have
the
this weird
obsession.
feeling.
She fucks with the obsession.
I'll be
I think women like
Let me
that.
just double check right now to make sure.
Double check right now. You remember the unfollow apps where you could see who unfollowed you?
Let me see.
Those apps used to piss me off.
Oh my, yeah, she still follows. Yeah, she still follows me. All right, bet.
You remember them apps? Like the unfollow app where you could actually see who's not following you?
Yeah, but the only problem with those is like Instagram stopped liking it and messed up your account if you used it. That's
Yeah, I ain't using it in a long time. So I don't know. I don't follow a lot of people back, but I used to get pissed off because there'd be people I grew up with or people I know like, damn, what did I do to you? What did I post to make you unfollow me?
I think the only reason somebody would unfollow you is because if it's not you anymore, then they're like, why am I following this? Is a bunch of other people on your page now.
So I got told that and I created a separate page for my show because it was when my show is active and we posting the upwards of 10 to 15 pieces of content a week.
Yeah.
Or my marketing person is. So it got to a point where I was like, okay, let me separate the two. So now they're two separate entities.
That's smart.
Yeah, it took me years to get there though. I just made that page like 2 years ago. But at first, yeah, I actually received that feedback from people. Damn, we want to see you. My friends were telling me that. My close friends. Like, damn, we want to see you. So I just separated them. So now if you go to my page, I believe it's majority me now. I cleaned it up.
And if you can mix it up too, if it's like some posts are you, some posts are some is the show, I think the people would be, even if you are part of the code, like if you are one of the speakers on it, I think people will appreciate that because it's like,
And I am. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get a
make
decent response when I post myself.
it
on the code.
consistent where like you're showing your face on there.
Yeah.
People are kind of picking one lane or the other. Like Theo Von, kind of, it's like all him.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan, it's a mixture of him and these
Whatever
guys
gets
who
there,
everybody aspires to be. These guys are on top of the world with this shit. Well, one thing I did notice about all the comedians is they do podcasting, interviews, and they do stand up. So it's like they're involved in live performances as well as production.
Because they be wanting to show, because they know personality sells. And the version of them that's on stage is just all jokes. It's all being funny. I'm not gonna call it performative, but it's definitely a bit of an act, right? So I think when they hop on platforms like a podcast and things like that, it personifies them, or humanizes them a little bit more.
Do you
And
think
it
you'd ever
allows
take
people
the
to-
code on the road like that? You think you'd ever like take it to live events or stages like that?
Yeah, my gears been turning about that for a while. The fact that you just said it is making the gears turn a little harder now. I've wanted to. I just got to make that make sense. I got to make sure it makes sense. That's all.
I think people would pay you for that easily.
Tickets to get in, sponsorship, stuff like
you
that.
could-
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Look
that's
what
been on my
Drewski's
mind.
doing. Drewski's out here just, he has
definitely
thousands of
is.
people.
That's
in
an
a line.
inspiration.
Yeah.
That's definitely an inspiration. Just figuring out what needs to change, what adjustments need to be made for the code to be on a stage and not on a production set. Because I want to do that. People want it to be done. I need to make sure I try something like that. While the code is relevant and something that people do want to see and people seek out. So
Yes.
yeah,
Are those, what kind of glasses are those?
these Cardis.
Those are Cardis?
Yeah.
Those are fire.
Yeah, he's from Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah, shout out to Candy.
Sounds
Luxury
French.
eyewear.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Detroit. Yeah, it's all French. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it. That's right.
Yeah, these came from Candy at Luxury Detroit Luxury Eyewear.
Yeah, damn,
Custom
son.
lenses too. She made them for the code. She made these. She it's the exact tone of of the code and stuff like that. Yeah.
I was about to say, damn.
They were a gift
son.
from her.
She gave those to you?
She was one of my sponsors for one of my seasons of the code.
You're telling me right now you got gifted those buffs?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah, I did.
I cannot believe that.
If you post this, she's gonna comment and tell you. Yeah, she gifted me these. I asked her to be one of my sponsors, and she sponsored the entire season. And she gave me this little speech, about how she admired the hard work and the dedication and stuff like that. And she not only did she gift me these, but part of her sponsorship was she wanted some of my guests to put on. She brought like 30 or 40 pairs of glasses, a lot of which were Cartiers, Buffs. There was a bunch of glasses. My guests that came on the show, she wanted them to wear them, not have them, but wear them and show them off.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite sponsors, and that worked for her. The people were buying them. People on my actual set were buying them. People were following from the show and things like that. So that was a really mutually, beneficial sponsorship.
That's brilliant.
And she gifted these at the end of, I believe that was season 7. That was season 7.
Damn. How many seasons are you guys in right now?
We are on season 9.
9, damn.
I'm gonna take my time with season 10.
Damn, so you guys are
Yeah,
coming a long way with it, man. It's
Pretty
hard. It's hard. So how many episodes do you think there are in total right now?
about 50.
50 episodes.
I want to say 50. Yeah,
It's hard to get there, man.
it's very hard. It's very hard. Yeah.
Have you found any type of monetization through advertisements or anything like that? Or does Tubi pay you at all?
So I got a deal I won't really speak about, as far as Tubi goes. There was monetization there though, but I have never ran any ads or anything, for the code. It's all organic. A lot of the monetization for the code comes from sponsorships.
Nice.
Yeah, which are actually really easy to come across. People are actually really willing to work, when I pitch to them. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. They know people are gonna see it, so and it represents the culture well. So it's like therefore they're gonna put their stuff there.
And I try to keep my sponsors. I really love Detroit. I try to keep all of my sponsors Detroit. Detroit based, small business type vibes. Every sponsor I've ever had, I think was that. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Young, black, Detroit.
It's the only thing that makes sense because it's relative to the city.
Yeah, I'm a fan of putting people on. I'm a fan of networking. I'm a fan of keeping it in the family when I can. So
I think the only sponsor we ever got that wasn't Detroit was Gamer Saloon. It was this app where you could bet bet online with people through playing games with them on the PlayStation and Xbox.
that's dope.
Like if we play 2K against each other, we could bet as we're playing against each other.
Oh yeah, that's extra dope.
Yeah, Gamer
That's a dope sponsor.
Gamer
That worked out.
Saloon. Yeah. They gave us some nice money to do that shit.
Yeah, that's dope.
But everything else has been Detroit.
Yeah.
They hook it up too, man. Restaurants are going crazy trying to get themselves out there. What's your favorite? What's your go-to spots in Detroit for food?
My go-to spots. I love Moots Pizza.
Moots is great.
Yeah, I used to work there.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it like?
You said what was it like?
Mhm.
Oh, it was great. That's a perfect location. And I was working at Moots as I began taking off on the production side. So I was working very limited hours. Moots was working with me. Sometimes I'd disappear for like 2 weeks because I'm working on a big project, and they would understand because they knew what I was doing. So working at Moots was great, and their food is even better. I love Moots. I like Detroit 1 on Woodward. L. George's on 6 Mile.
You ever been to Bobo Fair?
Never. I don't even know what that is.
What is it called? Baobab Fair. It's African food. East
Never even-
African.
Oh, and Caribbean Kitchen on 6 Mile.
Caribbean Kitchen.
Kitchen with a C, yeah. You never heard of them? Oh my God.
Kitchen with a C.
Yeah, Caribbean. I call it Caribbean Kitchen, but I love Caribbean Kitchen though.
Kitchen with a C.
Yeah, I love that
heard
place.
of they switched the C for the K, but not the K for the C. That's crazy.
Yeah, switch the K for a C. Yeah, I don't go there often, but I love their food.
Yeah, man. It's interesting to see where the community is going as far as entertainers and productionists in Detroit. We just had Carla on here. She works on the set of Buffed Up and Moolah Films' sets.
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's
she's
dope.
in all of like she's pretty much a part of the Moolah Films productions. But we were just talking about how there's so much entertainment happening coming from Detroit, like from the rap scene to the interview scene to the podcasters to the content creators to the films and everything that's going on.
It's extra dope because I got a lot of connections in a lot of other cities,
Really?
whether that's family or I used to live there and stuff like that. And as far as seeing a web the way Detroit has, I've never seen it anywhere else. I've never seen how connected we are in how many different sectors of entertainment. I don't know too many other cities that got it going on like that, especially in an accessible one. You know, you got the Kid L podcast, you got the Hip Hop Lab, you got the rap scene, you got Moolah Films, you got all these production companies and things like that. Like, it's the web we got right here is the reason why I wanted to come back so bad. I was gone for 2 years, and I spent most of the time ready to come back to get back in that web.
Yeah,
because I was a part of the ripples from all the waves. I was a part of that, and I feel like I removed myself, and I needed to put myself back because no other city is doing it like that. And I would have conversations. I would meet people. I got some really famous friends. I got some entertainers, some high level comedians and things like that. And I done talked to them, and I done networked with them, and I done talked to the people that they know and followed them and stuff like that. And I'm like, nobody's connected like this. Chicago came close, but Detroit is powerful in that way. Media in Detroit is just get in, because no other city doing it like that.
yeah, it's becoming bigger and bigger. Street interviews are going crazy right now too. One of my friends is doing that. I forget his name, but he's doing it crazy right now. He just interviewed Dej Loaf, Cash Doll, and he's just going around. Funny Salesman's from Detroit.
Yeah, his content. I saw him at CreatorCon, and I listened to his story for the first time. You know, I was really moved by it. Yeah, his content is dope.
Bro, he was like the first content creator ever, literally.
Yeah, he was talking about how his video went viral back with Jamie Foxx like 15, 20 years ago, something like crazy, long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope.
Somebody stole his video and they like made hundreds of thousands off of it. They didn't give him one penny.
Mm-hmm. He asked for a certain amount. She told him no, but she didn't have to because in the beginning of the video, she asked to consent to film.
Is that what happened?
He gave it to her, and after that, she owned the video. Yeah.
Horrible, man.
I mean, horrible to a fault, though. You know, he is where he is, and it does have something to do with that. You know, he was telling the story. He was on stage, and I was listening. And I realized by the end of the story, you know, he was upset about that, but he can still appreciate where he got him.
Yeah. Because maybe what if he got that money and it's like, oh, I'm set now, I'm chilling.
Yeah, I think it was 30,000 he wanted or something like that. Don't quote me. The video out there, but he probably in the space where he's like, thank God I didn't take the 30K. Because yeah, at that point it's like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, because 30K to somebody, you know, depending on where you at in life, might make you just sit down and just say, okay, cool, I got what I wanted from that. But no, he had to grind after that, and he probably done made 30K, you know, 30 times over.
Oh my God!
You see what I'm saying?
I heard he makes some serious cheese. That dude's out there like that. Is there anything on your mind as far as something you've always thought about when it comes to the entertainment scene in Detroit? Is there an encompassing thought you have on a regular basis about the scene itself?
An encompassing thought that I have on a regular basis about the entertainment scene in Detroit.
Yeah,
I heard that correctly.
Yeah,
I just want to keep making my mark. I just want to keep making my mark. You know, I see what other people are doing, and all that did for me was show me that it's possible. You know, I admire people's work. I'm fans of people's work. You know, I sit on my phone and watch people's content all day. I'll scroll down your page. You know, I'll be there for 30 minutes, just entertain. But all that shows me is that all of this stuff is obtainable. You know what I mean? So I just want to be one of those. You know, I want to be one of those staples. You know, when you're talking about Detroit culture and Detroit media and things like that, that my name or something I created comes up, and I pray on something that I created because I feel like that's why I'm here on earth, to create. You know, and all of the people I done put in position, because I put some people on. You know, I done work with some dope people. I done help people open their eyes. I got messages in my phone of people after they left my set talking about, wow, thank you for the opportunity. And I'm like, oh, shit. Here I am thanking you. Yeah, that you showed up. You know, people thanking me for the opportunity, and it just showing them that they are comfortable on camera. They are comfortable with a microphone in front of them, you know. And then they go on and they start creating. I got a friend who's been in like 3 or 4 movies, done started a podcast, done started creating content and things like that, and is doing decent. And it started when I invited him on my show. Yeah. So if I can continue, you know, providing that, you know, while I'm building myself up, helping other people build themselves up, exposing people to what they want to do, you know, helping them get there, paying them when I can. If I can continue doing that and becoming my own big name, you know, that's what I think of when I think Detroit culture. How can I continue making my wave? Yeah. Because I done made some big ass waves in Detroit. Facts. I'd have been viral as hell before, several times. But I want to retain that. I want that to be a normal occurrence. Because going viral is no longer impressive to me because it comes and it goes. I want to land something and it just like the code. When I created the code, I did not know it was gonna get as big as it did. Did not know it was gonna spread as far as it did, as fast as it did, have fans and things like that. Have my students asking me if we could watch an episode when we supposed to be learning and stuff like that. Things like that blow my mind. So if I can just get bigger and more consistent with that, that way when the conversation in Detroit comes up, I'm in it.
Yeah, stamped forever, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's only few media platforms that ever are like stamped forever. Like 7 Mile to Belle Isle, stamped forever.
Yeah.
Pirelli had a TV show, stamped forever.
What TV show?
Pirelli had damn, what the hell did Pirelli have? I forgot because me and him are beefing. Al Nuke at Night with Al Nuke.
Oh, that's dope. I know
Wait,
what it
maybe
is.
Pirelli's was 7 Mile to Belle Isle. I think Pirelli was 7 Mile to Belle Isle. Yeah, Nuke at Night. Al Nuke had Nuke at Night.
What was it on?
Some local station.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, they had like these local stations and stuff, but they would basically just be like rerunning like hip hop stuff, doing interviews, rap music, all this type of stuff. So they had like these platforms, and people still kind of talk about it to this day. Well, let me be real, nobody's talking about it. But like
Yeah,
if
'cause I
you
was about
bring
to
it up
say
to
I've
the
never-
old schools, the
Yeah,
old schools
yeah, I get
remember.
it. I
But
get it.
think about it like this, right? As far as Detroit entertainment's concerned, names that are never going to be forgotten is like Street Lords, Rock Bottom, Cheddar Boys, Team Eastside, Doughboys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if the media platforms can stamp their names to that level, that would be great.
I just hope the younger generation still look at them the way we look at them.
Well, like Street Lords? You ever think Street Lords would like, it's been like 20 years.
It's been longer than that. I think. Well, no, 20 years is about accurate. That's early
Yeah.
2000s. Yeah, about 20
Do
years.
you think it's, man, people are forgetting who Tupac is, bro.
They don't
Or
view
not
him.
knowing who Tupac is.
They don't view him the way that I'm 29. I'll be 30 this year. They don't view him the way that I view him. Mind you, he died the year I was born, I think, or like right
96?
around the time. 90. Yeah, I was born in 96. He died in 96. They don't view him the way that I do. Where I'm like, when we talking about the GOAT conversation, I'm hearing YoungBoy and shit like that now. YoungBoy can rap, but I be sitting there like, can you shut the fuck up? Yeah, like I have like people, young people like 16, 17 telling me that, trying to put him up against the greats, that who we consider the greats. And I mean, that's cool. I just hope that they stay stamped. You know, as long as we don't die, they ain't gonna die. But
No.
times are changing though.
But when you hear somebody compare Tupac to YoungBoy, it's kind of like, damn.
I haven't heard that comparison. I've heard Tupac. I mean, I've heard YoungBoy compared to Lil Wayne. I hear that one in my classroom.
Who do you think, like, if we consider Tupac one of the greats, do you think this newer generation is looking at Tupac as one of the greats, or do they not even know who he is?
They know who he is, but they're not considering him one of the greats.
Why?
Times it's just, I'm not, but you know, times are moving past it though. You know, and then I think the introduction, the accessibility of music and how everyone can make it. The music game is becoming a bit more saturated. I think there's a lot of people to be fans of and things like that. There's a lot more music coming out a lot faster. Tupac and Biggie's catalogs, they big, but you know, you can shadow their catalog in a year. You know, nowadays, just because of the accessibility. Not saying you're gonna shadow it with better music, but the fact that so much is coming out and so many artists are coming out, and a lot of them are actually good. Like if you talk about even Michigan rap, and I gotta say Michigan because I love Flint rap. Michigan rap, if you name every Michigan rapper, it's gonna take you a lot longer than it did 10, 15 years ago.
For sure.
Big rappers, like name all the big Michigan rappers, it's gonna take you a longer time right now.
When do you think it's going to be where Tupac's name fades? Where, like, we don't even hear about Tupac anymore?
What's this new generation? Gen Alpha?
Something like that.
When they get in their 20s. When they get a little bit older,
Well,
I don't
yeah,
think.
but let's put a year on it. It's easier to put a year on it. I would say
2040. I don't think. At that point, Biggie will have been gone. I'm sorry, not Biggie. Tupac would have been gone for 50 years. He would have been gone for 50 years. Think about the music that was out 50 years ago right now.
Well, the Beatles are still one of the biggest bands in history, and they were like 100 years ago.
That's valid. That's the fucking Beatles, though.
Huh?
That's the Beatles, though.
Tupac is like equivalent to the Beatles to me in rap.
In rap? I'm not going to speak to that because I feel like I could say something ignorant.
Well, I feel like the equivalent of the Beatles is Tupac when it comes to rap.
Influence?
No, like impact. Like
Impact,
how big?
impact.
I think the Beatles were that big of an impact for the rock music, and I think Tupac was just as big for the rap. Who was bigger than Tupac when it came to impacting rap? Like, as far as being that notable in history.
I think Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
I think Jay-Z is up there. I believe. I'm not even the biggest Jay-Z fan, but I will speak to that though. I think Jay-Z is big enough to say, he is right up there.
Damn.
When it comes to impact on the rap game, from fashion to music to culture to changing your life, stuff like that, movements, getting large amounts of money and knowing what to do with it, making an impact, changing the world, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, plus he got to actually feel the fandom. Tupac didn't really get a chance to feel it to that magnitude.
To your point. Jay-Z continued on. Jay-Z's still here. Jay-Z's still doing stuff. We don't know what Tupac would have did. Tupac and Biggie, they both had very, very short runs and did a whole lot in that very, very short run. I just fear that by like the year 2040, the younger generations may not recognize that because they truly weren't there, and all they could do is take our word for it. They hear the music. People might still be sampling it. We gonna know, but I don't think that they will. My dad says shit to me sometimes where I'd be like, he be talking about Sugar Hill Gang and stuff like that. I'd be like, Dad, I hear you.
They were like the first rap
We
group.
do not care. That's just the truth, though. I can appreciate Sugar Hill Gang, but I don't, the impact that he be talking about that they had, stuff like that, and when the first hip-hop song came out, stuff like that, I'd be like, Dad, I hear you. But that impact it's not hitting, and we might have had those conversations like 2008, 9.
Yeah, that'd be tough, man.
It's going to be hard, though. It's going to be heartbreaking because I consider Tupac one of the greats. I consider Biggie is actually my favorite.
I love Biggie.
He may be my background on my phone right now.
Biggie is?
Yeah.
Oh, no cap.
Yeah, I'm a huge Biggie fan.
I mean, I'm more of like, if I'm listening like consistency, I'm going Biggie. If I'm feeling like in a certain mode, I'm going Tupac.
I understand that.
But like Biggie's definitely has more like versatile when it comes to like fun and impactful at the same time, as far as like I'm bouncing my head to the shit, I'm feeling it, and he's saying some harder shit.
Yeah. He wasn't typecasted to one type of rap.
Huh?
He was not typecasted to one type of rap.
Yeah.
His spectrum broader than Biggie's for sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate Tupac. I love Tupac. I know his entire discography.
Me too.
Yeah, I'd never discredit Tupac for who he is and what he did to the
Hell
culture.
no. Nobody here is sitting here
Yeah.
discrediting Tupac.
I think the younger generation
We're just talking
wanna
about him
appreciate-
fading from the newer generation.
It's,
Is gonna
it's
start.
happening though. It's happening.
My little cousin does not know who Tupac is. When he told me that, I literally I don't know. I was about to freak out when he told me I do not know who Tupac is. I was like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
my kids know. When I say my kids, I'm referring to my students because I teach juniors and seniors. So I'm around 16, 17, 18-year-olds all day. They know who Tupac is. But I can just feel the importance of, I can feel like that impact fading, even in conversation with them.
Terrible.
It happens.
Whew.
It happens.
At least they'll put his ass in the history books forever. Guaranteed he's going to be in the future history books.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee it.
Yeah, they were crippled by the fact that their careers got cut short because if Tupac and Biggie never got killed, I believe their music would still be ringing because then you add an additional 20 years of music.
Facts.
Yeah.
Corey, can we talk about some of the newer projects coming up, man, and what people can get involved in if they want to work with you?
Okay, cool. Following me and reaching out is the number one thing that you can do. When it comes to the code got to a point where there is an application process to be on the show. I do invite people to be on, but to make it equitable, because I know I do live with some bias. Instead of me reaching out to people and building a cast, I offer applications, and then I look at who put in the effort to actually fill this out, including the people I invited, and then I choose from this list. Right? That's how to get on the code. It's been like that, for about 2 years now, and it works. It shows who's really interested, and it removes a bit of my bias. There's still bias that exists, right? But as far as work with me and things like that and things coming up, now that I finished that project, I really, really want to get into short films, just film them. I used to do them. I've been in a few movies and shows and stuff like that, but I really want to get back into creating that type of stuff. And the number one thing you can do is actually connect with me. I hate the Hollywood stigma, but I recognize it. I see it, in Detroit and stuff like that. Some of us, we be knowing exactly who people are and won't reach out or won't say stuff to people. I am not like that. I talk to people. In social settings and things like that, I reach out to people. If I see somebody I would want to work with, I shoot for the stars and land on the moon. People can do that with me. I be wanting to work with people. I be wanting to explore. I know I can learn stuff from people. Everybody I've ever worked with, I probably learned something from.
Yes.
Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I know what type of people not to work with, who to work with, new tips and tricks. So I'm always here to collaborate as long as we both got something to offer each other.
Absolutely. man.
Always.
We're on
I'm-
the same page.
Yeah, I'm the type to collaborate. Yeah.
It's been awesome having you on, man. Again,
Yeah,
with your
same.
platform, The Code, man. I really, like I said, the first thing I noticed about it was the aesthetic that you're giving all these artists and entertainers a professional look. I'm sure they appreciate that because we all have been on people's shows and podcasts and things of that nature where the production is not up to the best pleasant standards,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to, build a catalog and build a professional presentation as an entertainer coming from the city or coming from Michigan itself. And then also you just staying consistent with it. I know you had a little bit of a break to work on some other projects which helped hone the skills, but the comeback is set to be great. We're at Parallel Sound Studio, High Level Visual Shootings Productions. We're out. Peace. Fire, man.